Welcome dear students. Today in this video I will teach you about the first empire under which I will cover the Mauryan Empire. So I want everyone to take out your book. The Mauryan Empire. The Mauryan Empire was a geographically extensive Iron Age historical power based in Magadha, ancient India, founded in 322 BCE by its king Chandragupta Maurya. The empire was the largest to have ever existed in the North Indian subcontinent, spanning over 5 million square kilometers. As its zenith under Ashoka the Great, the capital of the Mauryan Empire was Pataliputra, modern Patna. History of Mauryan Empire. The foundation of the Mauryan Empire, which ruled for 137 years, was a unique incident in history, given the fact that it was found shortly after the death of Alexander the Great, who led many victorious campaigns in northwest India during 327 BC to 325 BC. The founding of the dynasty. As described earlier, the Mauryan dynasty was established by Chandragupta Maurya, who, with the help of his most trusted advisor, counselor Chanakya, overthrew the Nanda dynasty and built one of the largest empires ever on the Indian subcontinent. Conquest of Magadha. Even though Chandragupta's rise to power is shrouded in mystery and controversy, historians believe that it was Chanakya, or popularly known as Kautilya, who provoked Chandragupta to take over the throne of Magadha. According to various historical legends, Chanakya was insulted by Dhanananda, the ruler of Magadha, a kingdom that was large and its military was powerful and feared by its neighbors. Chanakya then and there swore to destroy the whole kingdom in order to take revenge from Nanda king. He used his intelligence and, along with Chandragupta, gathered many young men from across Magadha and other provinces. Men who were upset over the corrupt and oppressive rule of their king all helped him. Plus, they were able to acquire the necessary resources for his army to fight a long series of battles. Mauryans, while preparing to invade Patliputra, came up with a strategy. A battle was announced where the Magadha army was drawn from the city to a battlefield to engage with the Mauryans' forces. Meanwhile, Mauryans' general bribed the corrupt general of Nanda. Chandragupta's army even managed to create an atmosphere of civil war in the kingdom, which led to the death of the heir to the throne. Ultimately, Nanda resigned, handing over to Chandragupta and went into exile. Chanakya contacted the Prime Minister, Raksha, and convinced him that his loyalty was to Magadha, not to the Nanda dynasty, and that he should remain in office. Finally, the first king of the Mauryan dynasty, Chandragupta Maurya, became the emperor. Chandragupta Maurya became the first emperor to unify India into one state, creating one of the world's largest empires, and in its time and the largest ever in the Indian subcontinent. Chandragupta Maurya 321 BC to 297 BCE. The classical Greek writers describe Chandragupta Maurya as a man of humble origin but do not mention his exact caste. He was born orphaned and abandoned, raised as a son by another pastoral family, was recognized and taught by Chanakya. Chanakya was a Hindu Brahmin, the author of Arthasastra. Chanakya Chandragupta at the end of his life renounced everything and became a Jain monk. The reign of Chandragupta, as well as the dynasty which followed him, was an era of economic prosperity, reforms and expansion of infrastructures, irrigation, roads, mines. Many religions thrived in India during his rule, which Buddhism, Jainism, and Ajivika gaining prominence along with the Brahmanism. Bindusara 297 to 272 BCE. He was just 22 years old when his father Chandragupta stepped down from the throne. He extended the vast empire which he inherited from his father to South India as far as what is now known as Karnataka. Bindusara maintained friendly relations with Hellenic West established by his father and brought 16 new states under the Mauryan Empire. He almost conquered the entire Indian peninsula and was popularly known as the king who conquered the land between the two seas. Bindusara reigned for 28 years and died in 270 BCE. Ashoka the Great 268 to 232 BCE. Bindusara, after his death, his son succeeded Ashoka the Great. As a young prince, Ashoka was a magnificent commander. Ashoka was a magnificent ruler who crushed revolts in Ujjain and Takshila and was given the charge of the viceroyship of Ujjain. He was an aggressive and ambitious monarch who reasserted the empire's superiority in southern and western parts of India. In regards to Ashoka's accession to the throne, there is general agreement in the sources that Ashoka was not the crown prince but succeeded after killing his brothers. But the pivotal event of his life came when he conquered Kalinga in 261 BCE. Kalinga controlled the routes to South India both by land and sea, and it was therefore necessary that it should become a part of the Mauryan Empire. Even though Ashoka's army succeeded in overwhelming forces and civilians units in order to build a fortification, an estimated 100,000 soldiers and civilians were killed in the furious warfare. Ashoka, when witnessed the devastation, his heart was filled with remorse and guilt. Affected by so much destruction, Ashoka embraced Buddhism and renounced war and violence. After that, Ashoka implemented principles of ahimsa by banning hunting and violent sports activity, and ending forced labor. While he maintained a large and powerful army to keep the peace and maintained authority, Ashoka expanded friendly relations with states across Asia and Europe and sponsored Buddhist mission. Perhaps one of the greatest known accomplishments of Ashoka was the creation of his edicts, which were erected between 269 BCE and 232 BCE, ranging from as far west as Afghanistan and as far south as Andhra Nellore district. Ashoka's edicts state his policies and accomplishments. Over 40 years of peace, harmony, and prosperity made Ashoka one of the most successful and famous monarch in Indian history. He remains an idealized figure of inspiration in modern India. Hope you understood, children. Thank you, children.